welcome back to our live coverage of the Hughes Fire. This is Jen with Andrew and Carl in studio. Check out hometownstation.com for any updates, pictures, road closures, and maps, evacuation zones, any other information. We're going to do our best here to keep you up to date with all of those things that I mentioned. But if you need more immediate information, again, hometownstation.com. So just to kind of catch everybody up, little bullet points here. The Hughes Fire started at about 10:40 this morning. Very quickly grew from 50 acres, jumped up to 100, then 500. We checked in with it at about 3,000 acres, and now it seems that it is right around 8,000 acres, and it's kind of like north of Castaic. We've got a whole bunch of different evacuation orders. Castaic Lake, and bear with me, there's a handful here. Castaic Lake, Ridge Route, Paradise Ranch Road, North Lake Elementary, Sloan Canyon Road, Green Hill Drive, Hillcrest Parkway, Romeo Canyon Drive, Halsey Canyon, Cane Bridge area, the Charlie Canyon area, Tesoro, San Francisco, Sterling, Kelly Johnson, and Reyes Adobe are all of the areas under evacuation order level 3, which means go. And that means that when these crews come to your door, come through your neighborhood or your business, and they are asking you to leave, you need to do so as quickly as you possibly can.
Yes, and the new evacuation post, it was originally at Valencia High School. However, that has been moved to Hart High School here in Newhall at 2482 Newhall Avenue here in Santa Clarita. Again, the Valencia High School Evacuation Center has been moved and is now posted at Hart High School Evacuation Center if you need to go there, if you need to evacuate.
The 5 freeway closed north of the 126. If you're trying to come down here from Bakersfield, it's closed at the Grapevine. Alternate routes. It'll be a long one, but either you can go up the Coast Highway, so you take the 126, or the Simi Freeway over to the coast to the 101 and up the 101, cut across again around Santa Maria over to the 5. Or you can go the other way and up the 14 freeway all the way up through Mojave, cut across the 138 at Tehachapi, and cut over the mountains that way. The fire is in mountainous area, the Angeles National Forest up there, and it's very, very rugged territory with steep slopes. Firefighters have a tough time to navigate around it. We've been watching fixed-wing aircraft dropping their fire retardant on there, and that hopefully will help things out. As you said earlier, Jen, they're trying to build a ring around this by creating a firewall and setting up fires ahead of the direction the fire is heading at the moment. But we know as the sun sets, usually the wind shifts as well, and we're not quite sure what the conditions are going to be. We're still about an hour away from sunset, but we can see the dynamics or understand the dynamics of this shifting as time goes on. The other thing to be aware of, you were talking about animals evacuations, and up there are a lot of equestrian areas. Yeah. Be careful with the horses because the ground could be hot. You don't want to put the horses on asphalt as well. You want to be very, very careful getting your animals into vehicles and over to the evacuation centers, which are where, Jen?
Lancaster Animal Care Center and Pierce College. I had the address written down here. Let me try and locate that.
It's
but between those two, go ahead.
Winnetka.
Perfect. There you go. Yeah.
The exact address.
Lancaster and Pierce College, and then small animals shelters. So the Agora Hills location is full. Please do not try to attempt to bring small animals to that location, but Palmdale and Lancaster Animal Care Shelters are open for small animals as well.
Also, the horse community here in Santa Clarita is very tight. I know Sand Canyon, the equestrian area over there, has evacuation plans, and they have an exchange program too where they'll assist with trailers getting animals in over there, and they will house people. So that's another alternative, is to connect with a friend over in the Sand Canyon area, which right now is far away from where the fires are, and your animals will be safe over there.
And we're seeing some more evacuation warnings for Ventura County. So initially it was zones 1 and 2. Now it's certainly spreading. Let me specify, the evacuation warnings are spreading for zones 3, 4, 7, and 8. And that's zone 3 is Peru.
Yeah, Peru area.
Hopper is zone 4. Camulos is zone 7, and then I believe this is Guberson, zone 8. And again, this is for Ventura County warning zones for evacuation. So please keep your ears and eyes open for any sort of emergency crew that might be coming through your neighborhood and asking you to relocate as quickly as possible.
Yes, and the evacuation warning means get ready, have everything ready to go. Not necessarily meaning to go now, but just be ready, just so you're able to go if, in fact, the mandatory evacuation warnings do come in for your area.
And actually, that means that they're planning or anticipating the winds shifting, because right now the fire is heading away north of the Santa Clarita Valley. And with these new warnings, it means it's heading west, and just north of the 126 would be Piru and the areas you just mentioned, Jen.
Yeah, it's it's unpredictable. Like, we're talking about these winds, and the winds shift out of nowhere. So that's the trickiest part. I think these fire crews are out there literally battling something that that is unpredictable. So the best thing that we can do as a community is stay prepared and pay attention to what's going on, pay attention to what's being asked of you. Earlier, Andrew and I were watching the local news coverage, and people were trying to put out, well, I don't want to say put out, they were trying to tamper like some of the area around their homes with garden hoses. And, I don't want to pretend like I know what that feels like, but at the same time, you're putting yourself in danger clearly, and you're putting these crews in danger their job is to take care of you as a citizen. So please don't put yourself in any kind of unnecessary danger. We have these amazing crews here. Yes, they're tired, and yes, they need a break, but this is what they do, and they do it best. So let's help them help us.
And along with the fixed aircraft dropping fire retardant, we're watching helicopters also picking up water and dropping it down along this fire line. But looking at the TV screen right now, we're seeing flames erupting all up and down the ridge line, and of course just the smoke is phenomenal over there. And as I said earlier, as I was driving from the 14 freeway from the Canyon countryside, it's amazing to see how high the smoke has risen, and luckily at the moment it's still blowing to the north, so it hasn't impacted Santa Clarita completely. But if you could stay, even though you don't see the smoke, it's not good to get out there. And so if you're going to plan to be outside, don't stay out there very long.
Yeah,
get your animals inside. Don't keep your dogs outside. Be smart about stuff.
Yeah, because even just the embers, you think about, there was one of the more recent fires that we had in the Santa Clarita area still was fairly far away, and we weren't necessarily being evacuated or anything like that, but we were still getting the residual ash and ember in our yard and on our cars, and so it can travel very far. Andrew was talking about that a little while ago, about how far just one little ember can travel, and then of course cause other problems down the road, so to speak. So just be aware of that as well. Don't, like you said, don't let your animals hang out, for too long outside.
Yeah, the National Weather Service has tweeted out that the area is expected to experience gusts up to 50 to 60 miles per hour going into early this evening and throughout the night on through Thursday. So they're expected for winds to change, and the smoke, it might be in your area. Again, stay tuned here to KHTS. We'll let you know if you're under evacuation areas, but just be cautious if you're not in an immediate evacuation zone. Maybe take this time, do get ready, do have everything ready to go just in case, so it's not a last minute, and then once everyone's trying to get either at the store or on the road there, just so everyone can evacuate safely and orderly.
sunset is only about 55 minutes away, and that's as we discussed earlier. Once the sun goes down, that's when the weather changes, shifts, and the winds can very easily shift over to coming in either from the desert and pushing it that way. Sometimes it comes in from the ocean. So either way, we're probably going to be dealing with some kind of dynamic change happening within the next 55 minutes or so.
And in the next 55 minutes or so, we will be ready to hear from fire crews. I guess I should specify exactly who's hosting this news conference. That will be taking place at 5 o'clock, so we'll keep up to date with that as well. Hopefully they'll have a little more insight, can fill everybody in on how they're doing in terms of containment, which, of course, the fire is still at 0% containment, over 8,000 acres. There have been 31,000 people evacuated in those zones that I mentioned. Road closures, too, I think is important as well. Obviously, we know how the highway is affected, but we've got Lake Hughes. Exit routes north and south are closed. Ridge Route Road at Lake Hughes. Ridge Route Road at Templin Highway is closed. Lake Hughes at Pine Canyon. Dry Gulch at San Francisco Canyon. Golden State Freeway closed, and Bitter Canyon and Sterling Lane are all closed as well. Again, go to hometownstation.com. We will do our best to constantly keep any sort of closures or evacuations up to date on our website.
If you're just tuning in, we are doing full coverage of the Hughes Fire. Broke out around 10:40 a.m. here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS 98.1 FM. And be sure to download the app if you haven't already, KHTS Radio, and you can go over to Facebook as well, where we're streaming live over there as we try and keep up with all the information for the fire. Schools in the Castaic area were evacuated early on in the day once this fire broke out. Businesses have since, I was just talking to a business owner who's over off of Kelly Johnson. They were in the process of evacuating about 20 minutes ago when we were talking, and everyone's got to be on full alert at this point. And be smart about what the officials are telling us to be doing at this moment.
Yeah, and we're watching these tanker airplanes, I should say, multiple helicopters. What do they call them? Super scoopers. 15 different air tankers. So they've got all hands on deck. Obviously, they've still got crews in the Palisades and in the Eaton fire. But they've come together, taken some of those crews off of the Palisades fire as that's kind of letting up a little bit, and then sending them up our way to assist in this fire.
The good news is we have no reports of any structures being impacted so far, and right now the fire is heading north in a northerly direction away from the Santa Cruz Valley up into more and more open terrain of the National Forest, rugged terrain out there, but a lot of dry brush that's in there, the chaparral. I don't think they've done any burns. A lot of that is the National Forest land, and to the best of my knowledge, they haven't done any controlled burns in well over 5, 6, 7 years. We had heavy rains here in California last year, so the brush has grown, and we can discuss debates on whether or not to have clearance and proactive clearance later on, but right now it's important that we somehow get this fire under containment. It's zero containment. I'm just seeing a report that over 31,000 people have been ordered to evacuate. Many more are on standby right now to evacuate. If the winds shift at the sunset, which is going to happen in about 40 minutes from now, a good area right now that's being prepared to evacuate is the Piru area, and if the winds shift, it's going to be heading, they think, toward the ocean, toward the Ventura area, the Ventura County line, down the 126, just north of the 126. Ventura is only once you go on the 126, Ventura is only 6 miles in. Piru is 10 miles away from the 5 freeway. So, and between that, you have a lot of residents in that area over in a lot of it's been developed too in recent years.
Yeah. And those zones that you're talking about, Piru is Zone 3. We saw evacuation warnings for Zones 1 and 2 in Ventura County. And then, like I said, with Zone 3, Piru, and then Zone 4 for Hopper, Zone 7, Camulos, and Zone 8 is Guberson. I apologize if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Those are evacuation warnings for Ventura County.
There's a great app you should all be downloading at this point called Genesis, Genassys, and that has up-to-the-minute fire information, and it's a good way to stay in touch.
Yes, you can put in your address and your place of residence where you'll be located, and then it'll send you updates if you are in a evacuation warning, mandatory warning, anything like that. They will let you know specifically your area.
AM 1220, KHTS 98.1 FM, full coverage of the Hughes Fire that broke out at 10:40 a.m. Jen, Andrew, Carl here with you, and we'll stay with you as long as we need to right now with as much information as we have. 5 freeway, if you're trying to get to Bakersfield or if your friends coming down from the north, not going to happen by going down the 5 freeway. That's shut down north of 126 and over, if you're coming south, the Grapevine. So that's a long distance that's being shut down. Best way around it is one of 2 choices. Either go over to the coast to the 101, take the 126 or the Simi Freeway. If you had to head up north, go up the 101 up north, and then you can cut across to the 5 freeway in a variety of places up there. Or you can go around the other way up the 14 freeway, Mojave, and at Mojave you're going to cut across the 138 cut across Tehachapi over the mountains, and that will place you down into the 5 freeway right around the Bakersfield area.
And you're going to have a lot of residual traffic too, obviously, running into that issue. Some of the road closures I mentioned a few minutes ago, I'm going to do that again. Lake Hughes, exit routes north and south, of course, Ridge Route at Lake Hughes, Ridge Route at Templin Highway, Lake Hughes at Pine Canyon, Dry Gulch at San Francisco Canyon, Golden State Freeway, Bitter Canyon, and Sterling Lane. And then crews were also kind of giving us a heads up to avoid, I think it was McBean Parkway, at the points where you hit like Valencia.
Yes,
Copper Hill.
the ones that run parallel to the 5 freeway, because that's obviously going to be shut down and getting rerouted to the 126 or the 14, as we mentioned. And those other roads that you just mentioned, all those surrounding roads are going to be impacted from people evacuating, trying to get home. And unfortunately, let's not be those people that are just wanting to go see the fire. If you don't have to be on the road, stay home, just so in case you do need to evacuate, stay home, but allow those people that need to evacuate the time to do so. And then also, more importantly, the fire engine and crews the space to get to where they need to, because we've seen this with the Palisades fire where they literally blocked the road. People blocked the road, unintentionally, but just because they either left too late and with the hustle and bustle left their cars there, and they had to be bulldozed just so the fire engines can get through. So let's make way for our first responders to get through, and then all those people that need to evacuate a safe route to do so.
We're going to take a short break, come back with more coverage of the Hughes Fire here on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, hometownstation.com.
And we are currently covering the Hughes Fire. You can go to hometownstation.com for any updates, pictures, road closure maps, evacuation zones for the Hughes Fire. This is Jen with Andrew and Carl, just keeping track as best we can with the Hughes Fire. That is now over 8,000 acres and at 0% containment. The fire broke out at about 10:40 this morning, started at 50 acres, and very quickly, in a matter of less than 2 hours, had ballooned from that 50 acres up to about 500, eventually spreading to 3,000 and then 5,000, and now is settled at 8,000, over 8,000 acres, and once again, 0% containment. We've been watching crews do their best to kind of get ahead of the fire a little bit and work kind of a ring around what they feel that the fire will grow into, sort of to stop it. Plenty of evacuation orders and road closures. Those evacuation orders have been issued, and there's a few here, so bear with me. Evacuation orders, again, this is level 3, which means go. There are 3 different levels of evacuation orders. 2 is just to be prepared, to be ready to go. You should already have a go bag by the front door, and you should be very much paying attention to local news, paying attention to what your fire crews are telling you, so that when they do come through, if they have to come through and give you that level 3, that you are ready to go.
And to put this into perspective, Jen, we already have 31,000 people that have hit level 3 and are evacuated.
That's true, and that includes Castaic Lake, Ridge Route, Paradise Ranch Road, North Lake Elementary, Sloan Canyon Road and Green Hill Drive, Hillcrest Parkway, Romeo Canyon Drive, Halsey Canyon, Cane Bridge area, the Charlie Canyon area, Tesoro, San Francisco, Sterling, Kelly Johnson, and Reyes Adobe. Those areas are level 3 evacuation order, which means go. You also want to keep in mind a lot of road closures too. We're seeing, of course, the highway is shut down north and south there. Near Castaic, Lake Hughes exit routes. Again, both north and south are closed. Ridge Route Road at Lake Hughes, Ridge Route Road at Templin Highway.
And then just to interrupt you, we just got an update flash that Castaic schools, all the Castaic schools are closed for tomorrow.
Okay.
So they're shut down. That's important information.
Yes.
Your kids will not be going to school for Castaic Middle School, the elementary schools, and
the high
Castaic
school.
High.
Yeah, the Castaic Union schools are closed tomorrow.
For Thursday.
Thursday, just for obviously air quality and if any evacuations that might still be in place.
Yeah, they were very close to this Hughes fire, and then a few more street closures: Sterling Lane, Bitter Canyon, Golden State Freeway, Dry Gulch at San Francisco Canyon, and then Lake Hughes at Pine Canyon. Those are all the road closures. And like I said before, hometownstation.com, we are doing our best to keep you up to date so that you can make the proper choices when it comes to your safety and following along with those evacuation orders.
Hughes Fire is still very, very dynamic. We're covering it here on your hometown station, KHTS FM 98.1, AM 1220, hometownstation.com. Breaking out around 10:40 this morning, quickly moving now. It's well over 8,000 acres. The last count we had was about 8,100 acres, and that was well over an hour ago. So they have not given us an update, but we'll be doing a press conference scheduled for probably 5 o'clock, a little after 5 o'clock. And also we're at a time now with about 30, 35 minutes away from the sun setting. And when the sun sets here in this area, we find that weather conditions shift, the winds shift, and we're not quite sure what is in store for us over the next hour or so as this shift occurs. But right now, evacuation warnings, means get things ready, are taking place over on the west side, over toward the Ventura area, along Lake, as far as Lake Piru, even further down that area, because with the winds, as Andrew, you mentioned, the wind gusts going up to 50 miles an hour, that means that the fire can rage very, very quickly.
Right. The National Weather Service tweeted out that the winds are expected to range to 50 to 60 miles per hour, the wind gust tonight. So starting in about an hour, as you mentioned, with the sunset going down. And they fear that it might be changing direction. They don't know yet, but they have a strong feeling that it might be changing direction, which will obviously change the direction of the fire. from what it is going towards now, north of Castaic, away from the Santa Cruz Valley. But with the ongoing winds and the wind change, as we've seen in recent past, the fire can change just like that in direction. And one area that you thought was clear and okay to stay in is now mandatory evacuation. So always be alert. Not out of the woods yet, so we still got a way to go on this coverage.
The other thing to be concerned about is understanding a fire, particularly we're in such mountainous areas where the fire is taking place, and all Santa Clarita has hills all over. Fires travel very, very, very quickly up a hill. They go more slowly down a hill. But if a fire starts working its way up a hill with 50-mile-an-hour winds, it could get to the top of that hill or ridge very, very quickly, faster than any of us could travel.
Within minutes, yeah. And it's difficult obviously for these crews to be on the ground. Certainly if the terrain is as it is, they mostly have to attack this from above ground. And so they've been showing all these air tanks floating through and dropping the fire retardant. We haven't seen a lot of water droppage, so I don't know. I don't want to, there's a little bit right there. I don't want to, read into that, but hopefully they're able to use both water and their fire retardant. And, these helicopters are going, they can scoop up the water. There's a little bit of water droppage there. That's good. So they're doing the best that they can with their resources, and they're already tapped with their resources, already exhausted, and they're doing their best work.
We're also being told that the sheriffs will be checking in with us in a short while and giving us the latest update over there. So we'll be looking toward getting more information from them. Press conference now is going to be happening sometime after 5 o'clock. Our news director, Jade, is heading over toward the press conference right now. Evacuation centers, Jen, where are they?
We've got a couple of different sites. So for your animals, first off, let's start there. Large animal shelters are at the Lancaster Animal Care Center and then Pierce College. So you've got two different choices there.
1 second, Jen. I
yeah.
believe we have Sheriff Solomon
let's do it.
with us.
Hello there. Who's on the line with us?
Yes, this is Deputy Jensen. How are we doing?
Hi, we're doing great. How are you doing? That's more important.
Well, as you can imagine, it's a little busy here. Appreciate the opportunity to come on and let our local listeners know that if they've been issued an evacuation order, either through an Alert LA notice or through the Protect Genesis app, it is not a recommendation. Please, please, please heed those warnings. We should have hopefully learned our lessons from the Palisades and Eaton fires. If you get that order, please evacuate. If you are in an area that is bordering an evacuation order zone, consider yourself under order as well. The warning exists only to let people that are in kind of special populations know that it is time to start packing up and start heading out, and special populations being elderly, those with special needs and that kind of thing. So we do have quite a few areas under evacuation order. The latest update that I have that I can give you is that anyone in the Castaic Viscaloos, Bitter Canyon, Cambridge, Castaic Lake, Charlie Canyon, Golden State, Green Hill, Hasley, Hillcrest, Paradise Ranch, Ridge Route, Romero, Sloan, LA County E008, E016, E029, Francisquito, Kelly Johnson, Reyes Adobe, Sterling, and Tesoro del Valle are the latest orders. So if I just called your zone, that is a level 3 go now order from LA County. We are asking you to evacuate. The 5 freeway has been shut down from 126 going northbound and from the Grapevine going southbound. So what that means for residents is that you have a clear path to get out of your area so that you can go seek shelter somewhere safe. The fire is at about 8,000 acres at this time, and that's the latest update that I have from Angeles National Forest. We're in unified command right now. LA County Fire is here with U.S. Forestry, with the Sheriff's Department, as well as the California Highway Patrol. We are so grateful for the partnerships that we have with these local agencies that work together with us very well. I can speak from firsthand experience. I was here at the start, and I'm telling you, everybody jumped into action. Deputies were going door to door, floor with over 31,000 residents and evacuating, pulling them out, and making sure that everybody evacuated safely. Lake Hills has been evacuated and reunified. Castaic Middle School, Castaic Elementary, as well as Castaic High School have all been evacuated and are in the process of reunification. If you were evacuated, please go to Hart High School. Red Cross is setting up shelter there. They may not be fully set up yet, but they are planning on setting up a shelter there.
In fact, we just got an alert that
update.
all the Castaic schools are going to be closed tomorrow as well because of air quality.
Okay. Yep. Not surprising at all. Again, pay attention to those updates that are going to be coming from your local schools, school districts, and that kind of thing. But as of right now, the schools in the affected areas have been evacuated safely.
We've seen fires before over the years shift dramatically once the sun goes down, and we're now about 30 minutes away from sunset. What are you anticipating once the sun goes down?
You know, you're going to have to pay attention closely. I will tell you it is not uncommon for these fires to shift because the winds shift, right, as soon as the sun goes down. However, I will tell you it was extremely breezy all day today. And thankfully, in the last few minutes, we've seen it kind of settle down a little bit. The fire is still growing, but at a much more manageable rate right now, it sounds like. Fire is confident with the resources that we have, that they're attacking it with everything that we have available. I wish you guys could see some of the things I've seen just as far as deputies working hand-in-hand with firefighters and springing into action. I mean, every single one of us here in Santa Clarita has been deployed to the Palisades Fire or Eaton fires over the last 2 weeks, so we all have very fresh experience and training, if you will, for this incident. So we feel very equipped, very prepared. Our local sheriff station, Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station, has set up an incident command post and is working with our LA County incident management team and our emergency operations bureau. They've been extremely helpful in setting up kind of an incident command post and kind of beginning those missions. So we have deputies on the ground from various partner sister stations, as well as, a special note would be that the fire is not far away from Pitch's Detention Center. So those contingency plans are already in place. We've relocated inmates from South facility over to another facility to prepare in the event that they do need to evacuate. But thankfully, the jail undergoes such regular and routine brush clearance that their order right now is to shelter in place because they're not currently in danger. So we're grateful for that. And again, like I said, so many resources getting put to head this thing off kind of on the front end. So we're grateful to see that. Please heed the warnings, though. Please heed the orders. Do not delay. If you've been told to leave, you need to leave. And
Deputy, I don't know how much time we have with you. I know you're obviously very busy. Can you kind of reiterate what you had mentioned before about if you're even near an evacuation warning area, just to basically be prepared? I think that's really important. And I admit myself that I had heard about evacuation warnings and zones and, okay, fine. I'm not in the red, so I don't have to worry. And that's what you're telling me is really not the case, that I should just be ready to go.
Yeah, so just keep in mind, with winds, you're going to have fires jump. Okay, that's what they do. And so you have to be prepared. So if you look at Protect Genesis or you look at some of the evacuation maps that are available right now on the LA County Emergency website, you're going to see areas in red and you're going to see areas in yellow. Here's what I want to make sure you understand. The areas in yellow are under warning. That does not mean that you're going to be fine. That means that we are watching you very closely and you need to start preparing. And that's why we pay special attention to those special populations that go under warning. Anybody in those yellow zones or in the evacuation warning zones that require extra time or wheelchair assistance or medications or, those kinds of things, please use that time to start evacuating. And what I was saying earlier about if you're neighboring one of those, if you're in the yellow, or let me just put it this way. If you look totally clear on the map, but you're next to a red zone, treat that like an evacuation warning.
Okay.
Please, please, please use that. Use the time that you have. And again, LA County Fire has tremendous resources available on their website about what to grab. If you're sitting there and you're just kind of frozen and you don't know what to do, just take a quick second, think about what is most important to you and what you're not going to be able to get back after the fire. Property is just that. It's replaceable. It will take time. It will be annoying. It will be difficult, but it's not going to be as drastic as losing a life or losing medication that you may need. So please look at the LA County website for kind of a checklist of what to grab based on how much time you have. They have really helpful lists. Like if you have 2 hours to prepare versus 20 seconds, they tell you exactly what to grab in those time frames.
And that's lacountyfire.org, I assume?
I believe it's .org. But
Okay.
you can just Google LA County Fire,
Yes.
and then it's part of their preparedness
Right.
side of their website.
Okay, perfect.
Well, we'll let you go because we know you're certainly have your hands full at this point. Your team is doing a fabulous job, and we really appreciate you taking the time to give us an update.
Well, no, like I said at the beginning, Santa Clarita is such a tight-knit community. We're super thankful. We're grateful for you guys even wanting to get this information out. It's a tremendous help to us. So any updates we have, I'll be sure to let your field reporters know, and that way you guys can disseminate that information. But also just want to say thank you to the residents and the city of Santa Clarita. I mean, they've been by our side since the beginning, deploying their emergency operations center to our mobile command post and to assist us with whatever resources we need. I just got off the phone with one of the directors over at the city of Santa Clarita, and they were doing a phenomenal job helping us get ADA buses so that we could do evacuations on people from one temporary evacuation shelter to another. So it's all hands on deck. This is where you see the community come together. And like I said, hopefully we all have lessons learned that we took from Palisades and Eaton through the devastating loss that's still being cleaned up over there. Some of those things are never going to get back and we're never going to recover from. So if we can take those lessons learned and make it so that Santa Clarita, comes out where we have less damage, less devastation, that's going to be key. So keep working together and keep eyes on the media for updates.
You stay safe, Deputy, and thank you for checking in. We'll talk to you soon.
Of course, folks.
Take
Be
care.
safe.
AM 1220, KHTS FM 98.1, hometownstation.com. We continue with our coverage of the Hughes Fire. Started a little before 10:40 a.m., has grown to about 8,100 acres was the last report. That was over an hour ago, and we've watched much acreage burn since then, so they'll give us an update at the press conference that's scheduled to take place sometime in the 5 o'clock hour. If you've just tuned in, all the Castaic schools, which were evacuated earlier, are now definitely closed tomorrow. So if you have kids in the Castaic Union School Districts, the elementary school, Castaic Middle School, Castaic High School, you are not going to be going back to school tomorrow. Businesses right now along that entire area have been evacuated. The last report we had was 31,000 people evacuated, and that number, I'm sure, has grown. And as the deputy has just shared with us, if you're in an area that is next to an evacuation area, get prepared now, because as the winds shift, this could be very, very quick and very dynamic. So heed the warning.
Yes, so Castaic High School is not part, fortunately, of the Castaic Unified School District, so that has not been deemed canceled tomorrow, however. But all Castaic Union schools in the district have been canceled. However, Castaic High is not a part of that.
We'll find out, because I would be very surprised if
But
Castaic
yes,
High
yeah.
is
But as of
going
right
to
now,
get-
it's
right.
not.
Okay, so it's just the Castaic Union District. The 5 freeway shut down north of the 126 all the way through the Grapevine to the bottom of the Grapevine. So if you're trying to get up the 5 freeway going north or 5 freeway coming down from Bakersfield, not going to happen on the 5 freeway. Alternate routes, best way is to either cut across to the 101 and go down the 101 freeway, cut across at probably the Simi freeway, because the 126 is right now vulnerable at this point. So I would say go down to the Simi freeway, cut across, or if you need to get up north, another alternate route would be to take the 14 freeway up through Mojave, cut across the 138, and that will drop you in over at the 5 freeway and down by the Bakersfield Grapevine area.
Okay. And obviously for updates, you can always go to hometownstation.com, pictures, road closure maps, evacuation zones, that type of thing. If you need maybe a little bit more specific information, like we were just talking with the deputy, the website for that is lafd.org. Again, lafd.org. And of course, they will have really down to the minute information for you if you need any update in terms of evacuations and that type of thing. lafd.org.
We'll find out too about the Castaic High School.
Let me
Send
see if
some
I can,
texts right now
I'll start
on
Googling.
that because that would be very important for us in the planning stages for tomorrow. The winds are scheduled to be shifting at some point. You said,
Yeah,
Andy,
as nightfall and it turns into evening, afternoon turns into evening here, the National Weather Service has said that it is expected to wind gust to increase to 50 to 60 miles per hour as the night goes on, which is only going to affect this fire and fuel it even more. And then also the winds are expected to change. The direction, they're not, not 100% positive as of yet, but as we all know, the winds do change as nightfall approaches and it gets underway. So this can only mean that the fire may change. It's not 100%, but we've seen it time and time again where the fires have changed. You might be in a place where there's not even relatively any smoke, but within an hour, you are under a mandatory evacuation area. So be ready if you're there. Even if you're not in an evacuation warning, let's take this time to have and get everything ready, just so you are, just in case. Doesn't hurt just to be ready to go if indeed that is the case for you.
And I don't know if this is correct. I know we're trying to figure that out, Carl. You're sending some text messages to your contacts, but the crawl at the bottom of the screen just said Castaic. All Castaic schools are closed tomorrow, but we're trying to figure out. Andrew,
Right.
you were
As of
saying
right now,
that Castaic High School is
the
not
confirmation is that for us is Castaic Unified Schools.
Okay.
School district are closed. Castaic High School is part of the Hart District.
Right.
So that is unofficially as
Yeah.
of yet.
Okay, we're trying to figure that out.
But once
for
we
sure.
know that, yes, we'll definitely let that know. But as of right now, it's only the Castaic Union schools,
Okay.
which are canceled tomorrow.
Yeah, and I just got the latest information. We did just ask the Hart District. They're not releasing info yet, but we'll, as soon as they do, we'll let you know. So the Hart District has not made a decision yet as to whether or not Castaic High will be open, but Castaic Middle School and all the elementary schools in Castaic are scheduled to be closed tomorrow.
Okay, and that's all the closures that we have in terms of schools and businesses. There haven't really been too many. I guess a lot of people are probably waiting to see what
Right.
happens
We're going to
with
wait
this.
for this press conference that's
Yeah.
scheduled for the next 10 minutes or so, hopefully, to get underway. And hopefully we'll be able to carry that for you live here on the air. But evacuations earlier, they were at Valencia High School. However, they has since changed locations to Hart High School, where the Red Cross is actually setting up and getting everything prepared there for you in the need that you need to use their services. So head over to Hart High School in Newhall. That's located at 24825 Newhall Avenue.
Santa Clarita, as the deputy mentioned, is such a tight-knit community, and we've been through many, many, many disasters over the years, and our neighbors help each other out. So most likely, in fact, a lot of the times the shelters are pretty empty because people are staying with friends. I mentioned if you have animals, even the equestrian animals being evacuated, there are places to go for that Jen's going to announce in a minute, but also because the horse community is so tightly knit here that there are already exchanges set up for emergencies like this. I know Sand Canyon and the equestrian folks over in the Sand Canyon area can easily house horses that are being evacuated from the Castaic area, and we've had the vice versa happen over the years.
Yeah, and we've got, let's see, Lancaster Animal Care Center is taking in large animals. Pierce College is taking in large animals. Small animal care can be found in Palmdale and the Lancaster Animal Care Centers. The Agora location is full, so please do not try to bring any animal to Agora Hills. But Lancaster and Palmdale are open for your assistance if you need that. I'm just trying to think of.
And actually, just to
another
clarify that
one.
website for fire,
Right.
that's fire.lacounty.gov, which will give you the more better accurate information there.
Okay.
Right, the fire department is doing their work battling this fire, but fire.lacounty.gov will give you all the updates you need. If you don't head over to hometownstation.com/fire, that will put you directly to our post that gives you all the updates there. Also on our social media at KHTS Radio.
We're watching right now so much of the manpower being used throughout the Southland area to assist in fighting this fire. Of course, Sheriff, CHP, Fire Department, the CHP will be calling in a couple of minutes. In fact, they may be on the air right now. Who's with us right now?
Hey, how's it going? This is Officer Burgos Lopez from the California Highway Patrol.
Hi there. So why don't you give us a quick update on what's happening from your end?
Yes, currently the California Highway Patrol has a few closures. The I-5 northbound is still shut down at SR 126, Newhall Ranch Road. Additionally, we have the on-ramps to northbound 5 on Newhall Ranch Road, eastbound and westbound shut down as well. The old road is going to be shut down at Sedona Way and at Hasley Canyon. We have Lake Hughes shut down at Warm Springs, and currently those are the closures CHP is manning.
And then it's shut down as well if you're coming down from Bakersfield or and heading
Correct.
south. It's closed at the
I-5
Grapevine?
southbound is shut down. SR 138 to the 5 is also shut down.
Oh, so the 138 is shut down. So
It's shut down at the 5.
okay, so an alternate route going up the 14 is not available at this point.
Up to 14, it's going to be shut down for southbound traffic at the 5. Northbound will still be open.
Got it. Okay. And then any precautions that you're taking right now in anticipation of the wind shifting?
At the moment, we're at the command post. We're staying informed. We're going to do a press release here as well with updated information. Right now, it looks like we're currently looking at around 9,400 acres, 0% containment. We are going to do an update. Just caution for people driving through the area with all the closures. Traffic's very heavy. Some smoke is affecting in the area. So just take precaution. Please drive safely. Be patient when you're coming through the area.
And right now the fire is heading away from Santa Clarita, heading in a north direction. Is that correct?
I don't have that information on hand in what direction the fire is moving right now.
Okay, but with heavy smoke right now, it looks like the smoke, from what we can see, the smoke is blowing in a northerly direction. But as you know, Deputy, when the sun goes down, which is just minutes away, we could watch a dynamic shift taking place in the weather.
Yes, I think it's anticipated that the winds are supposed to pick up later on. Fire department is well aware of it. If anybody sees any spot fires flaring up in their area, please report it to 911.
Terrific. Thank you, Deputy. We're going to break away for Fox News, and we appreciate the update.
My pleasure. Have a good day.